Thank you all for gathering with us today to celebrate Fish River Rural Health's grand opening event of Bulldog Avenue Health Center. So appreciative to see all of you taking the time to celebrate this momentous occasion with us. I'm Heather Pelletier, Executive Director of Fish River Rural Health. We are delighted that our special occasion aligns with a time for gratitude and remembrance. Please join me today in honoring our veterans. Sunday of this week was our national observation. We thank our veterans present, as well as our veterans that have gone before us. My personal gratitude for both of my grandfathers. Pepe Bouchard served our country in World War II, I can't believe I'm doing this, and Pepe Labby served in the Korean War. My cherished Fish River mentor and predecessor, Norman Fournier, is with us today and a Vietnam War veteran. Our very own certified application counselor, Rita Haskins, is an Army veteran. Thank you, Rita, Norm, and thank you to all veterans present today. Please join me in a moment of peace to honor our veterans. Thank you. We gathered here as friends on May 17, 2017 for our groundbreaking ceremony. We gathered today to celebrate as friends the opening and expansion of services to Fort Kent and surrounding St. John Valley communities. This expansion co-locates to one convenient healthcare setting, family medicine for all ages, osteopathic manipulation therapy, behavioral health and substance use disorder counseling, biofeedback, also known as brain pump, psychiatric medication management, family dental, family optometry, podiatry, RN care management, health education, support groups, and wellness programs. This unique healthcare delivery model is tried and true. Our Eagle Lake Health Center has provided integrated healthcare under one roof for decades, so we are all well aware of the success to bring primary and preventive services to one convenient and accessible location for our community residents. The value of receiving holistic care in one convenient location by one care team cannot be underestimated. I have the fortune to work with such dedicated, compassionate employees every day at Fish River. I offer today's celebration to honor each and every one of you. And we see you all in Fish River logo, so please honor everyone here. The details invested in the design of this state-of-the-art facility focused on maximizing patient privacy and comfort. We've already joked about mission accomplished. We focused so intently on privacy in this facility that we've already needed to add another window due to limited sight for both parties. Our receptionists and patients entering our lobby couldn't see each other. But thankfully, our contractor hopped to this challenge and accommodated and installed the window the same day, so thank you. The increased privacy and the increased service space were carefully planned with employees, board members, and Harriman. Thank you, Harriman, for partnering and truly taking every employee comment and concern with sincere consideration and attention to detail. Not to mention how beautiful this project has turned out. The efficiency of the workflow is outstanding. Every construction partner was a joy to work with, and we sincerely had very, very few bumps and no bruises to speak of during this project. I will request our contractor Reed DeVoe to call attention to his crew and his subcontractors for their outstanding workmanship when he shares his comments with you today. For those of you that know me, it comes as no surprise that I love what I do. My two greatest loves are my people in this room and my family. I thought it would be fun to share a conversation I had recently with my 9-year-old son, Caleb. We were returning to the conversation of when we thought, or if we thought, we could ever have a dog at home. I'm sure all of the parents in this room have never had this family conversation. Caleb proceeds to share his solution on how we could make the addition of a dog to our family possible. So, Mom, when we win the lottery, Dad could stay home, and then we can have a dog. And, well, Mom, you keep working because you love your job. Even my 9-year-old, in his genuine sincerity, appreciates my endless commitment to Fish River's mission and, most importantly, to the people of the Valley. All joking aside, it is my 9-year-old and his generation that give me hope that the kindness witnessed amongst this extraordinary group of people, the very legacy we work so hard for, and we stand up today, will be promising for the future of generations to come. Please allow me to introduce our first guest of honor to share remarks with us today, Fish River Rural Health Board Chair, Representative John L. Martin.
Thank you, Heather. And it's a joy working for her. You notice I said for her, but seriously, it's been great. Before I begin my comments, I do want to recognize some of the board members that are here. I see Paula Gardner, Betty Pelletier, Jarrett Roy, and I think that's it. But the other board members, Rachel Albert, and Sandra Bernstein, Bob Parent, Troy Jackson, Terry Bollier, and Michelle Raymond, and Judy Dustin. So that's the board. And so I have a few comments that I want to talk about. First of all, I want to congratulate Reed. He and I go back a long way. And this is a fantastic job. I have never seen a better workmanship that you've done and your crew. You notice that we have this here. This is where the money came from. We got $1 million, a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture. That was what we applied for, and we were successful in receiving it. Then the USDA gave us $1.3 million loan, and yesterday we signed the documents. Greg Staples was happy, representing Katahdin Trust. They gave us the construction interim financing, and yesterday we paid it off. So I want to thank them for being so helpful and working with us, even though we were a little late because USDA didn't quite get us the money on time, but they agreed to not, shut us down. And so that's where we really were able to put this together. And Heather, of course, is responsible for having done the applications, working with them to get the process, and the board has been very supportive through this process. And so I really think that we have come a long way. Speaking as a board member of many years ago, when Norm Fournier was at ACAB, we started with a bus. I don't know if any of you in this room remember it, running from Allagash to all points in between. Eventually, then started in Eagle Lake and enlarged that facility. And as some of you know, we have moved into Madawaska, and now here we are with this facility. And so it is a real success for this organization. And needless to say, we're here for the long haul. And so thank you all for coming, because it's been a great start. I was telling, people how we started this number of years, well, really, about 2 years ago, we started talking about this. And so we've been real lucky in getting it accomplished. Thank you for all of you who helped getting us there. And never can tell, maybe we'll be building somewhere else. Who knows? Thank you very much.
It's up to you if you want to introduce the town.
Oh, okay, sure. I actually am pleased to be the first time to be here to present the town manager of the town of Fort Kent, Suzie Paradis, and thank you very much for coming to represent the town of Fort Kent.
John Martin, Fish River Board members, Heather Pelletier, and staff at Fish River Health Facilities, along with all invited guests. I want to thank you, and I'm delighted to be with you today to celebrate the grand opening of the Fish River Rural Health Expansion here in Fort Kent. Fish River has a proven track record in providing health care services, marking its 28th year in business, and this expansion signifies a great community effort and an important economic factor for the area. When I first heard the news of this new state-of-the-art 10,000 square foot addition in 2017, I was immediately impressed and pleased that Fish River board members were focused on the future of our people and the needs of health care for our area. I congratulate all of you who had the foresight to expand this facility and its technologies at this one location. I am confident that this new expansion will profoundly improve the quality of service and infrastructure for patients and staff, both in the immediate future and in the years to come. Foresight, perseverance, and tenacity are words that come to mind for a project of this measure. I am sure this would not have been possible without many of you involved. I would like to personally thank all those involved in making this happen, in particular Fish River board members and staff, Heather Pelletier, Tommy Higgins, Maine Primary Care Association, Harriman Architects, Katahdin Trust, Reed DeVoe, and contractors. You've all gone to great lengths and many efforts were undertaken to ensure this expansion would happen. On behalf of the town of Fort Kent, we applaud and support your efforts to continually providing quality health care to the region. The continued operation of this facility is crucial to many citizens of Northern Aroostook. Once again, we thank you and welcome this new addition.
Thank you, Suzie. Thank you very much for being here with us. And now, someone who is not scared of the weather, who came from Augusta. And so, my pleasure to present to you the Chief Executive Officer of the Maine Primary Care Association, Darcy Shargo.
So I was surprised at the snow, but I absolutely was not going to turn around. I'm Darcy Shargo. I am very lucky to work at the Primary Care Association on behalf of Maine's 20 community health centers. And you may not know that the network that spans from here in the county all the way to southern Maine is actually the largest primary care network we have in our state. So Fish River is part of something pretty substantial and pretty big and increasingly exciting, as is evidenced by this building. Together, the health centers across the state of Maine actually serve 1 in 6 Maine people, so we have a huge impact. You all know the gem and the gift that you have in Fish River Rural Health. What you may not know is that the community health center that we stand in today is part of a national and pretty, almost 50, actually going on 55 years, historical movement around social justice. The belief that communities can organize themselves to understand and support those among them who are most in need of health care and increasingly other services, so that one-stop shop that we keep talking about and thinking about. Today, health centers have become part of the nation's primary care health foundation, distinguished by their mission to community, which is obviously central here to Fish River. Their quality of care, also very central to Fish River. Their affordability and accessibility to everyone, and perhaps most uniquely, their community governance. You guys might not know, but community health centers are very unique in the fact that their patients actually are the majority of their boards, so they govern pretty significant decisions about healthcare delivery in communities, and that's a pretty awesome thing. One of the best parts of my job is that I get to get local. I get to come here, bad weather aside, and witness the incredible impact that community health centers have on the people they serve. And I love that there are kids in the room, and I would say to kids, stay in Fort Kent and come work at Fish River. We really, really, really would love to see you here in 10, 20 years when they've expanded another 10,000 square feet. Fish River is a gem. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I've worked with health centers for over a decade now, and in that time, I've seen some incredible shifts in how comprehensive, patient-centered, and integrated care is delivered at the community health center level. In that time, I've observed that the team at Fish River, who is led very, very capably by Heather, I think we shall give Heather a round of applause. Fish River, I have observed, has been exceptionally thoughtful about how they gather and respond and adapt to the needs of the communities, and I think this building is perfect evidence of that. Every health center is ultimately an embodiment of its community's aspiration for better health and health care and basically better quality of life. And I personally, and I think everyone in this room, looks forward to what other work Fish River is going to do in the coming years to realize that aspiration. So thank you for having me, and I'm really glad that I drove through bad weather. Thank you.
Thank you, Darcy. And now we're going to have a few words from our staff. First of all, the Director of Dental Program, Norma Lundgren.
Thank you. It gives me great pride to stand before all of you here today. And our Executive Director, Heather Pelletier. Heather, you had a vision, and with the backing of the board, of this amazing board of directors that we have, everything's come to fruition. It's happened. We have an interdisciplinary, state-of-the-art healthcare facility. We can walk down the hall if we have a patient that's got a concern, vice versa. We can go downstairs if there's something with vision. It's fantastic. We all know this didn't just happen. And Heather, I have to say, you're a mover, you're a shaker, you know how to get things done. And I know you had the backing of the board, but it takes a leader. And we thank you. We're fortunate to have you at the helm of our ship. And no matter how rough the waters are, you keep us afloat. And you always put us back in focus on what we're really here for. And we're here for the patients. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. Thank you. It would be remiss if we didn't thank our dental patients during our construction. We've rerouted you perhaps a couple of times. We've given you different ways to enter our building that you didn't know we had. But I can say you all followed directions very well because you all showed up. And to the staff, your patients and your true champions. I thank the dental staff, the team for going through the construction. And it's funny now, I hear the garbage man come in and pick up the garbage. I'm like, oh, what's Reed doing today? But it's not Reed. Just have to retrain, I guess. But we knew there would be an end, but who knew how magnificent that ending would be. On behalf of the Fish River Dental team, the old kids on the block, all you newbies next door and down below, we welcome you. I thought of putting my Mr. Rogers sweater on, but I didn't have one that said Fish River, so welcome to the neighborhood, welcome to Bach. We're happy to have you, and we look forward to many years of serving Fish River patients with you. Whenever you see a successful business, someone made a courageous decision. Thank you to our board and our executive director for being courageous. Thank you.
Thank you, Norma. And now the person who has done a lot for us over the years, the Director of Nursing Clinical Quality, Sue Bouchard.
Those that know me well, that I'm the shy one in the room, so they say. But I do. I want to sincerely thank Heather, the Board of Directors, for their guided and the outcome of what we see here today. It is truly an honor to have the opportunity to address, once again, our used to be our Fort Kent Health Center, but now our Bullslick Avenue Health Center Medical and Behavioral Health team, who moved over come September 4th. We were up and going. It certainly was not a small task to pack, move, unpack, equipment, boxes, but I'll tell you, you put a Labor Day holiday at the end of that, and I'm telling you, we were moved before the holiday. So everyone had their holiday off. The team is quite proud of their new work home, and we hope all that are here today find it as equally as nice as we do. And as we continue to provide high-quality healthcare services to the communities we serve. I also want to thank Fish River Optometry and Dental team that endured months of construction work, but also took it in stride. To the Eagle Lake Health Center team, wow, what a beautiful renovations that are occurring at that site currently. So yeah, I have to say though, I leave and this all happens, okay? Just saying. I come here for you guys to do that. Mattawa Community Health Center too, to the entire team there. So amazing what the different disciplines are doing in those clinics. By the way, spoiler alert, open house coming to Madawaska soon. As we work with the architects to design so many areas of the new building, we made certain that to place kind and considerate attention to many areas of this health center. In addition to this room, the Education and Training Center. This is an amazing room. I've been here for Fish River for over 20 years. When I first started at Fish River, I was health educator. I never would have imagined that someday Fish River would have such a beautiful educational center, let alone a building of this magnitude. For 11 years, Fish River has facilitated the breast cancer support group called The Journey. Meetings were held wherever we could in the community, wherever we could find space. I must now say The Journey has found a consistent meeting place. They are new meeting home. Our first meeting in this new center will occur around Valentine's Day. We are going to have a Valentine's Day ball. And it'll be a spectacular ball right in this room. Again, thank you. I thank Heather, the board, the staff I work with. I have incredible staff and most wonderful people to work with. Makes it a pleasure coming in day out to work hand in hand with these people. So I thank you, and I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Sue, and my pleasure now to present to you the people who did the engineering, architecture work through all this. And Judy Johnson is here from Harriman, and somewhere in the room, Peter Biggett is also here from Harriman.
Well, thank you all. Peter Pinkerton, who's the interior designer, and I were delighted to be here today. The snow did not deter us. Peter's from the south. He's all the way from Gray, Maine. But I'm from the deep south. I'm from Portland. Anyway, it's just been a real pleasure, this project. Heather, I think we've been working together for off and on for, I think, 5 years maybe. And anyway, I want to wish you a hearty congratulations to you and your entire team here at Fish River, the board, everybody in the community for the completion of this really important project. And we were delighted, Harriman was delighted to be your trusted architects and engineers and to be a part of this chapter in your story for the community. And it was a pleasure working with the entire team. Devo Construction, I can't say enough good things about Reed Devo. The quality, as has already been mentioned, of the work, it's outstanding. And so Reed was a real pleasure to work with. I met his father working on the project at one point. Katahdin Trust Company, they were always there at the table counting the pennies and making sure our math worked at requisition time. And of course, USDA, who couldn't be here today, who was shepherding us along the design process, grant applications, and then also through construction. And then of course, the Fish River Rural Health Team. Norma, I would call her and she would ask her to do, while we were in the design phase, and ask her to do for crazy things like, can you go take a picture of the well cap? And she said, sure, where? And then Sue, she was awesome. She was working with us during the design phase, walking through the patients. And then Jane, as we were going through construction, also mindful of the dollars spent. And I got to say, this project came in with very few, as Heather called them, bumps in the road. We had very small change orders in this project. It was awesome. And also Heather. Heather has sort of been the guiding light to this. I guess our contribution to your project, to this project, was to bring Heather and Fish River's, the board and the staff's vision to reality. This energy efficient building is designed to deliver high quality patient care and serve as an educational resource for the community, as you've seen in this very room. In fact, as I've listened to everybody speak, it's not just a health clinic. I almost feel like this is a wellness center. But I'm not suggesting you rename it. That would be changing on the signage. And we worked many hours on the design with Heather and Sue on the design of this project, with the patient experience and the efficient workflow as the top priorities. Every room we went through, it was like, if I'm a patient, how am I walking through the space? If I work here, how am I working on the space? You know, where should the refrigerators go in the lab? I mean, it was all very precise. And we're very proud to have worked in this building. It's approximately 10,000 square feet. And, you know, you've seen 2 levels, and the elevator, when it works, is wonderful. There are exam rooms, procedure rooms, and counseling rooms, as has been mentioned. The physician offices with also meeting space for collaboration on the quality of treating one patient as a whole. The laboratory space is, I think, excellent to serve your needs for many years to come. And maybe most importantly is the previously mentioned waiting room with the check-in and check-out, designed for patient privacy, really patient privacy, as Heather pointed out early, and with the addition that we had to do of the window, which Reed did very quickly. And this level also includes a clinic and, again, this education resource and the kitchen, which I think is going to serve this community really well. There's an entry on the upper level, which I know you've noticed, that also connects this facility as a whole with the existing dental clinic, and really becomes one facility. And then the vision of this building also included trying to build on the brand that Fish River had already established at Eagle Lake with the red shingle siding, so that there's some similarities there. And the Harriman team not only included myself as the architect, but mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and civil engineers. And of course, a special shout out to Peter Pinkerton, who's with me today. He's the interior designer for the project. And just a few things about the interiors. I think they feature a warm and welcoming palette of earth tones that include durable, affordable, and naturally appealing materials that can be easily maintained and cleaned. Materials like the vinyl wood flooring that you've seen upstairs, and the translucent acrylic panels that gives kind of this spa-like appearance. Peter also did the furniture selection on the project. So you're sitting in the chairs that he selected with Heather and Sue. And he also picked out just a few pieces of the artwork in the connector. And he went down to the Maine Historic Preservation Commission archives and personally picked out 3 pieces of artwork from their archive and had them blown up, and they're located in the connector. And so hopefully that folks might recognize something there. But we, Harriman, we truly appreciate what this project means to the patients of Fish River, rural health, and the community. Peter and I, as well as the rest of the Harriman team, are excited for Fish River and will miss our monthly visits to Fort Kent very much. We actually really do enjoy coming up here. Today wasn't that bad. And anyway, we want to congratulate you on this health center, which will serve this community for many years.
Thank you very much to the Harriman team. Actually, I will point out the colors, I like them. And I do want I'd ask all of the employees to raise their hands so we can identify you. I know most of you have name tag, but so that's the team. When Heather started talking about this, the board started talking about how we're going to move and how we're going to, where we're going to get the money and how we're going to get there, and how much money do we need, and then it got bigger and bigger, but we needed more money. And so, and then of course, really we're nervous when we went to bid, because we didn't know if we had enough money committed. And luckily, Reed came within those figures, and that's why we're here today. So Reed, fantastic job. Come on up.
Well, I'd like to start by congratulating Fish River and the board for all the work that they've done putting into this and getting us to where we're at. This job, I guess I took special interest in because I remember when I was my kid's age working at Fish River and Eagle Lake, and I've seen how Fish River's grown over the years, and I was proud to take part in this new expansion. Going into it right from the start, I knew it was going to be a great project because, well, over the last 10 years, we've traveled a lot for work. Traveled all over the state. We've done a lot of projects, a lot of different subcontractors and architects that we've worked with. On this one in particular, it was all local subs. People that we've worked with a lot over the years, like Doug from Kenna Electric, and then Rodwood Plumbing and Heating. Which the difference is, I guess, when you're working with local guys, everybody takes some pride in the project, and they're all looking for the same outcome. We've done jobs downstate where everybody's looking to pass the buck. They're like, well, it's not my job, I'm not doing that, or the plan doesn't call this specific nail to go there, we're not putting it unless you pay for it. So going into it, I knew it was going to be a great project, and I'd like to thank Doug from Kenna Electric for the great work they've done. Rodwood from Rodwood Plumbing and Heating did all mechanical. All my guys, of course, especially Mike Roy. He was the superintendent on this project. I was on the road most of the time, and then Judy and Peter and all the crew from Harriman. It was a great design, very plan. Everything went smooth. There was barely any questions on the plan, which everything was well drawn out and well put, and makes it easy for us to build. Thank you.
And so, I mean, what else can we say? We've all done it. And I do want to recognize Norm, who was our predecessor at Fish River Rural Health, who drove from Augusta here to be here today. He didn't turn around. And now I'd ask Gary Gardner, the pastor of Mountain View Bible Church, to please do the blessing for us.
I think you people have been blessed enough to do this. Heather asked me to do this, and I wasn't quite sure what a blessing was, so I looked it up in the dictionary, and then I took one of Dr. Pelletier's pills and blessing means a prayer that is asking God's favor and protection. And God blesses us. You've already been blessed. God blesses us through people that are gifted, that are creative. John Martin and this board put a lot of work into this, and we're thankful for them. They are a blessing. Heather, what can you say about Heather? Hasn't already been said. Invested, organized, energetic, committed. I've known her, watched her since she was a college girl, working and accomplishing things, and just hasn't lost any of that zeal. Norma Laundrie and Sue Bouchard, the directors whose lives are about getting the job done. And you give them something, they're going to get the job done. The architects, like you said, wow, this is really something. Quite a building. DeVoe Construction, quality work, another monument, really, years from now. Who did that? There you go. The secretaries, the building specialists, maintenance personnel that are involved in this, it's going to be a well-oiled machine. And they are a blessing. You've chosen the right people to do that. To live here in the St. John Valley and have people invest their lives in the St. John Valley, that's a blessing. So we've already been blessed. So we'll just put a period on the end of this. Can we just bow our heads for a second? Father, we thank you for the many blessings we've received here. And Father, we pray that this facility would continue to serve the needs of the people of our communities, and that you would bless as only you can. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
And since it's a little cold out there, we're going to do the ribbon cutting right here. I thought about it a lot, and I said, forget it. January weather has arrived in November. What else can you say? So I'd ask Reed and the people from Harriman to come forward, and Heather, obviously, and town manager.
The chamber.
And the she's taking the and the board members that are here.
Do some rows,
Yeah,
just turn them
we're going
around.
to turn some chairs around, and we want the staff to come sit in the chairs. And if we run out of chairs, we'll figure out. Some of you don't mind kneeling. We got a big family, don't we?
Pictures. Everyone say cheese. Yes.
You got enough room there? We got everyone?
That's Matt's.
Okay, take your pictures and then tell us when you want to cut.
It'll be fun if the crowd, you want to count 3, 2, 1? Yeah. Okay, you ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1.